Welcome to The Route to Revenue, two entrepreneurs sharing the path to curbside cash flow. I'm Ben.
And I'm Mike. We're both founders of two successful recurring revenue businesses in the home services industry. And we've built our companies from startup to profitable and scalable operations.
This is the show for entrepreneurs serious about building sustainable home service businesses. Whether you're starting out, scaling up, or ready to move beyond trading time for money, we share proven strategies for creating predictable monthly revenue streams.
And while our expertise comes from the bin cleaning industry, the systems and principles we discuss work for any recurring revenue home service. Think lawn care, pest control, pool maintenance, and beyond.
Each episode, we break down real-world strategies for customer acquisition, retention, operational efficiency, and building systems that generate consistent income while you step back from daily operations.
Are you ready to transform your home service businesses from a demanding job into a profitable asset? This is The Route to Revenue. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Route to Revenue. I'm Mike Walker, and I've got Ben McGee here, and we're going to talk to you a little bit today about how we got started in our businesses. So welcome, Ben.
Thanks, Mike. How are you today?
I'm doing good, thank you. A little hectic, but doing well. I'm happy to be here recording our first episode of Route to Revenue. So hopefully we don't make too many mistakes or too many mess ups, but
I'm sure we will.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.
It's just fun along the way.
Absolutely. So Ben, I thought we'd start our first episode with how we got started in the business, maybe what we were doing beforehand, kind of a little bit of a mini life story. And if y'all are interested in getting right into the route to revenue, maybe skip this episode for later on once you realize we're pretty cool dudes and we're fun. So you want to take it away, Ben?
Well, sure. And the other caveat I'd probably add there, Mike, is that our stories, I mean, yours is probably more interesting than mine, but probably neither of them are like riveting.
Well, so various points in our life, there's some rivet going on, but agreed.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So, you know, for me, I was in the casino industry. I was in the casino industry for a long time, and I decided that I needed to change. And I've always had kind of a side gig going. I've always been an entrepreneur. You know, I mean, everything from auto body shops to ultralight flight schools and sales to, I mean, you name it. My wife had a little business where she was an esthetician and did eyelash extensions and that sort of thing. And so we were just looking for something. And in 2012, she was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And that I would have never guessed would have played into this as much as it does. But we were looking for a business. And one of the things when she was diagnosed, you know, I'm a guy and I'm like, what can I do? Because we always have to do something, right?
We got to solve it. We got to solve the problem.
We have to do something. And the oncologist at the time was like, you know what, just have her eat as close to the source as possible. Keep her eating as clean as you possibly can. And I was like, okay. And then as she got into treatment, she started getting respiratory infections. And we're talking about it one day, and I'm like, why is she getting this? And this oncologist says, well, who takes the trash out? And I said, well, she does, because telling her to not take the trash out is just, it's not going to happen. I mean, it's just not who she is.
Sure.
So anyway, this oncologist tells us that there are germs and bad things at the trash. And that while she doesn't have any scientific evidence about this, she says she needs to stop taking the trash out. And that's probably, she says, most of the time when I get into these situations, it's that they're taking the trash out. She says that's the one common thing that I found.
That's crazy.
And so again, telling Lisa that she's not going to take the trash out, that she needs to leave it for me, and it's just not going to happen. So I started cleaning our trash cans. And, you know, I'd get out there and I had the bleach and the toilet brush and the stuff, and I'm, you know, the garden hose, and I'm scrubbing, and it was just disgusting and a mess. And
did you cut a hole in the garbage bag and one for each of your arms so you could put it over your head and reach down in there?
I didn't go that far, but I probably should have.
No PPE, you know? Huh?
Yeah. So anyway, I'm out there and I'm doing all of this, and one day I do this and I get the water out and it's on the lawn, and the dog comes running through the water and into the house, and I'm like, great, now I need to go clean the entire house. You know, so fast forward a few years, this has just become part of my normal routine. And I'm online and I see this video of a guy cleaning trash cans with a trailer. And I say, wow, I wonder if there's somebody in our area that I can hire to come and do this. Well, I looked and I couldn't find anyone. And so I started doing a little research, and next thing you knew, we were in business. And we went to Florida and picked up a trailer and
Nice.
started this business.
How was your trip cross country with that trailer? Did it get you
You know,
started really quickly?
What's that?
How was it? Did the both of you go over and pick it up, and you drove cross country in this little pickup cab together?
We did. So at the time I didn't even own a pickup truck, so I had to buy a truck. So I did that.
Okay.
And then we jumped in that truck and drove across country. And of course we made a trip of it. So we took the northern route over and went down the coast, and then picked up the
Nice.
trailer and came back the southern route. But on our way over there, at the time we were told that we were buying a complete turnkey package. Well, then it turned out that it was the website. They were just getting the money and they were doing it because of financing, that then they'd give you the money back to pay for a website.
Oh, okay.
And so we're on our way over there. Lisa's in the cab of the truck on a laptop getting our website ready to go.
Talk about
it was
talk
just
about winging
crazy.
it a little bit. Winging it just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit of winging it and, patching this and patching that. But we got there and we had a ball in Florida and hooked up and drove the trailer home. And, there were as a kid, I used to pull a trailer a lot.
Sure.
But it had been quite a while since I'd actually pulled anything. And so that was
certainly not
a different
2,000
experience
miles.
and a learning curve.
And certainly not 2,000 miles from Florida to Colorado.
Yeah. From Florida to Colorado was a trip. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
We got, I want to say, so it was in New Mexico that one of the wheels came off of the trailer.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So we had to stop. We spent a night there and got it fixed and had to jump back on the road.
Wow. That's quite a trip for sure. And now it's been
adventure.
What, 7 years, 7 years?
So that was 2018.
6, 7, the new fad.
It was 2018 is 25. So that's, 7. We're actually coming up on 8 years now.
Yeah. Wow. Fantastic.
So time flies.
Great.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah.
How'd you get into the business?
Yeah, so I don't know how far back we want to go, but I think I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I started with lawnmowers. Kids nowadays aren't doing lawn mowing, and I was the next guy on the list to get the paper route. So I had 62 papers that I delivered in all type of weather, 6 days a week in central New York, North Syracuse, New York to be exact. And we would get winters with 120, 130 inches of snow. And I'd be out there in my Schwinn 12 speed. It was a 12 speed. And that's how I delivered papers through all types of weather. Fortunately, at that time, my mom worked in the village in North Syracuse. So that was where my route went through. And she was able to take 20 papers or 30 papers to her work. And that was about the halfway point. So I started early. I'd be up at 5:30. I started early, both, when I was in high school, but also early in my life, kind of being an entrepreneur. And so I'd start early, kind of got that work ethic. And then in the afternoons, I'd mow lawns, had up to 6 lawns at one point that I did in 2 different neighborhoods. So that was kind of fun. And I kind of liken this business to that, or at least that passion to have your own business, to be the controller of your own destiny and whatnot. Went to college, got in the restaurant industry, and I did that for 15, 16 years. And it was good. My wife, I got married, and my wife's a controller. So she's the 9 to 5 person.
Controller, not controlling, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe a little bit of both depending on the day and how bad I stray. But so she worked in accounting and 9 to 5 and we had kids, and actually it worked out pretty well because I was home, mostly during the day and she was home mostly at night. We did the handoff. at sometimes at the restaurant, sometimes at her work, sometimes wherever. Sometimes my daughter would come with me, and I'd have a hostess watching her for 5-10 minutes. And I remember one Friday night where she pushed the power button on a computer because it was green, and when it went red, we had chaos for about 15 minutes because no ordering was happening, at least electronically, which is not good. Even 30 years ago, gosh, 25 years ago. So anyways, fast forward to, I got out of the restaurant industry because pretty much everybody was either an alcoholic or divorced or both in that industry. So I decided I didn't want to be either of those, and needed to get out of that. So I went into real estate and did that for about 15 years. And it was successful in New York, and things were good. And then my wife had an opportunity to relocate, and our families were getting older, moving south, and we decided we wanted to do the same thing. So she had an opportunity to hire on with a new company. They were going to reload us. So they reloaded us to Atlanta. And for about 5 years, I was, I don't want to say languishing, but maybe languishing. I didn't want to get back into real estate and bust on people that I just met. Hey, do you want to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Hey, Ben, nice to meet you. You want to buy a house? That's not the best way to meet people. So I did that, but I didn't do it well. I didn't do it effectively. Did a couple deals here and there, but not enough to really call myself a real estate agent. And just decided, 3 years into that 5-year period of time where I was languishing, that I just needed to get like a job. So I got a job making widgets kind of in a warehouse facility, and that was fine. Gave me something to do, a place to be, got a paycheck. It wasn't a huge paycheck, but it worked out all right. And long story short, at lunchtime, or sometimes not even during lunchtime, I'd be on the computer looking at YouTube, and came across a couple different business ideas. And ironically, and I don't know if hopefully I don't go too long on this, but ironically, the first idea I found was a grill cleaning business. And the premise behind that, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Ben, or not, was that you got this little trailer, maybe a 5x8. It was tiny. You could tow it behind a Geo Metro, I guess, if you wanted to. I don't know if that's dating me. But you could tow it, and you'd get to the house and you'd throw oh, go ahead.
I just have to interrupt for a second, because that's a picture that went through my mind. You in a Geo Metro.
Yeah. I'm
not sure how that even works.
Pictures of me. The picture you see on the screen now is probably a guy, 35 years ago when I was skinny. I'm not exactly skinny anymore. But yeah, So the premise was that you'd get to the house, you'd put all your stuff in this boiler outside of the front of the yard, and then you go around back, spray everything with degreaser, wipe it, scrub it, do whatever you had to do, replace parts, do this, that, and the other thing. And it seemed like a good idea. And I'm like, hey, what? I'm always one to check ideas first. So I went and got a 5-gallon tub and a big pot of boiling water and degreaser and scrub brushes, and I was simulating what this was going to be. So we did not grill for the next 3 weeks, because I got halfway through it and I said, screw this. I am not doing this business 3 times a day, 5 days a week, and be all greased. We had the grill was half put together or half taken apart, whatever way you look at things. And so anyways, so I found this, then I found the bin cleaning business, and, I found a video, probably similar video to what Ben saw. And I'm looking at it, and I'm not telling anybody. I didn't even tell my wife. And I was like, I'll be darned if I'm going to, let anybody kill this right away. And I needed to do all this research. So for 4 or 5 months, I was watching every video that our manufacturer put on YouTube, and it was good. And it was interesting. And then I started calling people, and I called, somebody in Austin, somebody in California, somebody in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I called a bunch of people, and, they all seemed like they were doing well. It was very much in the infancy. This was 2017, because I started in 18 for real, January of 18. So it was late 17, something like that. And, no, I'm sorry, 18. My apologies. And then we started early 19. Geez, I don't even know. Anyways, I
think you're about a year behind us.
I think so, yeah. And so, I finally get this idea, and I talk to my wife, and she's like, I don't know, let's talk to my father. and see what he says. And I'm like, well, but I don't want any money from him or anything like that. And she goes, oh no, I'm sure he won't put any money into this venture. So you'll be fine. I say, okay, well, and he happened to be coming up. It was July 4th, I guess, of 18. And he was coming up to visit. And, she goes, well, you should take him out on the deck. And we go out on the deck and we're out there for 20, 30 minutes. And I come back in and she's looking at me. She's, dinner's almost ready to go on the grill. Did you finish your talk? I'm like, yeah, we're going to do it. And she's like, what? She totally thought he was going to put the kibosh on it. Long story short, he didn't. He was integral in a lot of the design of the wrap, different things like that. And now every time we talk, and we talk, at least 4 or 5 times a week, he's always talking about the business and having different ideas and different things like that. That was 7 years ago as well. And, I remember we were year 2 or 3 or something, and my driver at the time was helping out. We do a beer fest where we sponsor the beer fest and provide water for all the attendees. And he's like, so Debbie, did you ever think this was going to be successful, or that 2 years later, you'd be at a beer fest giving out water and be the sponsor? And she's like, no. And he's like, really? She's like, no. I just thought it was this weird midlife crisis. A lot of guys go out and buy Corvettes, and my husband's buying a trash truck. She goes, but I just thought, whatever, I'll go with it. There's still going to be some value in this truck that we can sell when it kicks it to the curb type of thing. So yeah. It's been a joy and a sorrow and an excitement and a sadness and everything all wrapped in one, at various points of the time of the trip. So
I will say that my story is actually a little bit similar in that when I told Lisa what I wanted to do, she just, gave me a blank stare. And Lisa's amazing. She won't tell me no. She'll look at me and say, have you really thought that through? And that's when I go, oh, I probably need to do a little more investigation.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And with this business, she'd look at me and she'd say, Ben, I don't get it, but I will support you no matter what you want to do.
Well, mine is the same way. She doesn't say it as eloquently. She just lets me do my thing, and then she'll help pick up the pieces when they fall apart or fall to the ground. But yeah, and
my father got the vision. My father got the vision like immediately, and my parents were on board and tell us what we can do.
Yeah.
How can we support? They were amazing. And Lisa was supportive. Don't get me wrong. She built a website on the way to Florida.
Right. And didn't get car sick on the way.
Right.
Well, and it was funny because, all along I was like, I just want to do this myself. Hell, I started a lawn mowing business at age 12 all by myself, with a hand-me-down lawnmower. So I should be able to start a business like this. But as we were talking and going through the different processes, we ended up, to finance that, we ended up doing a home equity loan. And I'll tell you, if you want to be pointed and focused and everything, put your house on the line. And I assure you, you will find a way to make sure that it works, or you're going to work your fingers off until they are, till it either works or you sell it and you get out from underneath it. And that, I don't know that I would necessarily recommend it 100%. But it did work for us, or for me. It was a process, and it was a little scary at various times as well.
Well, and that's, I hear a lot of people talk about, as you're starting a business, the reason that they do that the first round should come from friends and family is because a stranger, you're okay if you lose their money.
Right.
You're not okay if you lose your friends and family money.
Fair, yeah. And that's probably also why the interest rates are so high on bank interest. They know that you can walk away from that a lot easier. So,
right.
But yeah, it's been a road for sure. And some of the other side parts of it, I've got 3 daughters at the time of filming in 2025. I've got a 26-year-old. She just turned 26 actually on Friday. She's a physician assistant. I've got a 23-year-old. She's a chemical engineer at a oil refinery, not the one that recently had a fire in Los Angeles, at a different one that didn't have a fire, fortunately. And then my youngest is 17, and she's a senior in high school. So They have all come to grips at various points in their lives of their dad having a trash can cleaning business. And I will say probably the 26-year-old had the easiest one because she was out of high school for sure, almost out of college, if not, and by then you don't really talk about your parents too much to your friends. My senior in high school was in 8th grade, I guess at the time, something like that. And my math's pretty poor on that, but 7th or 8th grade, which arguably would be the worst time for your dad to be in the trash can cleaning business.
For your dad to come and pick you up with the trash can cleaning truck from
Yes.
school?
Yeah. I have tried numerous
Did she make
times
you
to
park
say, hey,
down the
I'll come.
street?
What's that?
Did she make you park down the street?
Well, we don't park it at the house, but I did try to pick her up in car rider line because nowadays kids don't ride the bus, it seems. So you have to pick them up and drop them off. I don't know how that happened, but I always threatened to come through with the spiffy truck, and she always puts the kibosh on that. So how about you, Ben? What's the rest of your family makeup?
Lisa has 2 children from a previous marriage, and I love them both. Our son-in-law is involved in the business.
Nice.
He's our operations manager and my right hand, and I don't know that I could move forward without him. And yeah, they've embraced the business, and it's been good.
That's great. It takes that support. I mean, that's the one thing I think we'll probably talk about in future episodes is, can you do it yourself? And I think both of us would say that you can't. It's a labor of love. Maybe in the beginning you're doing it yourself, but at some point something's got to give. And even if you are the one doing it yourself, you're not doing it yourself. Ultimately, you've got, your wife or your husband at home that's taking care of the things that you can't do because you're out trying to build this crazy business that you're deciding to run, whether it's trash can cleaning or lawn mowing or pool maintenance or whatever. The hours never stop. Your brain never stops. And I think it's integral to have that support. And if you don't, that's probably game one, almost before you figure out where you're getting the money from. What do you think about that, Ben?
Yeah, I agree. I think that, without the support of family and friends and other than my parents, everybody thought that I was crazy for doing this,
We lived the same life.
Yeah. I mean, everybody would go, I don't get it, until they had their cans cleaned. And then it was like, oh, now I get it. Same thing. I didn't get having someone come mow my lawn until I didn't have to mow my lawn.
Yeah.
And it was done properly. What do you know?
And I don't know about you, but I was the same one. I'm definitely would not normally be my customer. I'm a do-it-yourself guy. I fix my own plumbing. I used to mow my own lawn. Now I get too busy to do that and different things like that. And I always took pride in the lawn. And that was one of the things that when I looked at this, I thought, this is a little different than the lawn mowing, because the guy that wants to have the nice straight lines and, he's out there manicuring it, at least he's got something to show for it. With this trash can business, nobody goes, hey, come look at the bins I just cleaned. These look great. And everybody's all thrilled. So I did see that this was an opportunity to, to do something that somebody just doesn't want to do. Now, it's not for everybody, and that's okay, but it is for a bunch of people. So,
yeah, I would say that, we do have clients that talk about, and I've got one story in particular. A friend of mine started having his cans cleaned, and his son-in-law was over and was giving him a bad time about, you even get your trash cans cleaned? And he looks at this kid and he says, you go out in my garage right now and you go smell my trash cans.
Nice.
And the kid was like, oh, come on. And he says, no, seriously, you go out there, you smell my trash cans. And the kid comes back in and says, okay, I get it now. I understand.
Yeah.
I'll quit giving you a bad time about having your trash cans cleaned. So
it is.
Yeah,
funny.
I think that there are people who are, we get a lot of customers that are like, oh, you know what? Hey, my friend was over, and I'm like, oh, you got to go smell my trash cans.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I always likened it to when people would come over and we were having a party or whatever, they're like, my buddy John would tie up the garbage bag and start to bring it out front. And I was mortified. I was like, oh my God, no. Just leave it right there. I got it. Cause the cans look like hell. And
Absolutely.
so I'd have to go grab it, or God forbid, your buddy, because you don't want your good buddy, the one that busts on you every day of every minute of every day, to have some other ammo on you. So that was that was a definite nice thing to have them clean now. But
yeah, you got to take the trash can out of the equation.
yeah,
So.
exactly. Well, excellent, Ben.
Well, Mike, it's been
go
a
ahead.
great talk. I've enjoyed this. Thank you.
And me too. Thank you. And hopefully if y'all enjoy the content, we'd love and appreciate a like, a subscribe. We promise future episodes will be a little more thought-provoking with regards to business and different ideas and techniques that we've done to build our businesses over the last 7 or 8 years, or 6, 7 years, if we want to stick with that whole new phenomenon that the young kids are doing. And we appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Ben, that's a wrap on another episode of The Route to Revenue. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you would hit like, subscribe, and leave us old guys a comment about what we did well. And if we did anything wrong, can it and keep it to yourself.
If today's strategy sparked some ideas for your business, don't keep them to yourself. Share this episode with a fellow entrepreneur who could benefit from these insights.
Remember, building a recurring revenue business, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Take one actionable step from today's discussion and implement it in your business this week.
Want to connect with us between episodes? Find us on Facebook or at our website. We'd love to hear how you're applying these concepts in your own home service business.
And until next time, keep building those recurring revenue streams and stay on the route to revenue.
The route to revenue.
Nice, Ben.